Hey y'all, welcome back to Brown Sugar and Shae Buttah's Decadent Conversations.
I'm Brown Shuga.
And I'm Shae Buttah. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, and so glad to have everybody back to view our next episode. Got so much feedback from the last episode, mostly from men. Um,
What?
yeah, it was mostly men. I had so many men to call me or reach out to me regarding the last episode. One, what I got cussed out.
Cussed out. Why?
I got cussed out because the guy that I was talking about didn't walk me to my car.
hmm
He was like, "You got me effed up. Don't be putting
But
me
it's
on
the
your
truth,
little
though.
don't be putting me on your little podcast." I told him I stand on it. I stand on it.
Listen, this a message to that brother, and I'm not gonna say your name, but I know who you are. And we just on here calling a spade. And the truth is, you didn't walk her to her car, so you
Right,
got to live with
right,
that. Don't nobody else know
right,
your name. You know, we
right,
ain't saying who it
right,
is, so you should be. They always be worried about people seeing them in a negative light. You ain't did no
right,
name dropping nothing, and he worried.
right, right. You worried about that. So then do what you're supposed to do, So but he was like kind of going off a little bit about it. I'm like, whatever. Then I had a guy friend of mine hit me up and he said, if I keep watching your podcast, we're not gonna be friends. I was like, why? What's that about? So he brought up the conversation about the older gentleman with the Nokia
Is he an older
and how he
gentleman with
said
a no kid?
the older that's the first thing I said. Why you got a Nokia? Or you sent a money order? Which one? So, I said, "Well, what triggered you about the conversation?" And
hmm
he basically said, "Well, it seemed like you were being ungrateful. The guy was doing something nice for you, and I just don't like when women are so one-sided." I said, "Well, that guy and I have been friends, for a while. We were, he's kind of far away. So we've been friends for a while and we've done things for each other. So I'm never a one-sided person. Like anyone that's in my circle knows that I'm not one-sided and I will
hmm
always you're going to always benefit in some kind of way from being around me and hopefully I'll benefit from being around you. So it's not a one-sided thing, but it was what it was with the Nokia and the money order. You know what I'm saying? Going to the post office to the money order situation. So it's no shade, but it was funny. So it is what it is. So that was the second, situation. Then I got into it with another gentleman. This has just been a weekend of getting into it with people. I got into it with another gentleman and I was like, yeah, you're gonna be a topic on the podcast. But I did kind of use it as a threat.
I'm sorry. First of all, none of these seem to sound like gentlemen. Oh, we just gonna call them men because they don't sound gentle at all. Second of all, I got a question about the second one that got his feelings hurt about the Nokia. I'm saying that you didn't appreciate, what the older man was doing for you. Is he the type that think $20 gonna fill your tank up, or is he
No,
generous?
no. I think for him because it was a snippet of the story. Like he needed more. We talk all the time, so he needed more background to understand that our interaction was more mutual. It wasn't like a situation where it's just one way. And once I explained that, he's like, "Oh, okay, now I understand." Have more context. I mean, I actually think all three of them are cool in their own way, but everybody got their issues or whatever. So, I'm not gonna villainize them, but at the same time, yeah, it was kind of an issue. But the guy I threatened, now that might not have came from a good place. He was so the online dating thing. So this guy I actually met before. And then he found me on a particular online dating site and hopped in my DM inbox, whatever you want to call it. and was like, "Hey, I think you're beautiful. We should chat." And I was like, "No, thank you. Have a nice day." And he was like, "Why?" I said, "Because we met before. I remember you." And so then he was like, "Well, what happened?" I said, "I'm going to text you and then you go back in your text messages and you figure it out because I don't even have the energy to explain to you what happened." And so he I guess he tried to go in or whatever. And he was like, "I couldn't have been that bad. What did I do?" And I said, I don't have space for people like you in my life. And so, long story short, I'm going to work yesterday and I get a call from an unknown call. A lot of times I don't answer unknown calls, but the time of day I was like, let me just answer it. So I answered
You
it.
running from the
He was like,
feds.
you he was like, he said, you got me blocked. I was like, who is this? And he was like, he said who he was. And I was like, I don't have you blocked. And so I looked, I said, I guess I did block you. Right. And so then he was like, I need to know what I did. Right. I said, you and I were talking for months. I said, and it was the same routine every time. You would reach out and say, "Hey, how are you doing? We should hook up and go out to eat or hang out." And I would say, "Great, fine. This is my availability." So I would let him know my availability, and he would say, "Okay, I'll check back with you right before that so that we can go." And so he would never do that, and then he would pop back up like a couple of days later and say, "Hey, I haven't heard from you. We should go out."
That sound like a waste of time.
Yeah, it was. And so I told him, I said, if you're interested in getting to know me, then you need to make plans for us to actually, meet and get to know each other. I said, but this, I haven't talked to you in a while. And circle, I like have no interest in that. So he did that maybe like 5 or 6 times. And honestly, it took me a minute to kind of realize because I got my own stuff going on. And then when I did, I was like, you know what? You are wasting my time. So when he was talking to me on the phone, he told me I was aggressive and I was a typical LA girl. And because I was being aggressive. And I said, no, you have an accountability issue. And you asked me to tell you why you were blocked and why I didn't talk to you when I told you you didn't like what I said. And you know what he did? Say, well, when are you available for us to go out? So I blocked him again. So that's pretty much I was just like, "Oh my goodness." But a lot of good feedback from like men, especially men in my family that watched the podcast like with their girlfriends or wives and said that they really enjoyed it and it was cool. So, and that they felt like they appreciated the balance. So, that happened. A bunch of other stuff happened too this weekend, but is that heavy family stuff going on. So I don't even want to get into that because I'm
Yeah,
trying to
we
be
not
in
gonna get
happy
into
mode.
that. We
Yeah,
we we
so
come
that's
here
pretty
to do
much it.
this to go ahead and relax and have
Exactly.
some decadent conversations, as I like to
You
say.
know,
And to the
exactly.
men that do watch and get something from it, we appreciate you. To the sour ones that don't, you ain't got to keep it moving. We ain't tripping.
Right. So I was just online on Instagram. I don't know if it's true or not, but they said that Kevin Samuels passed away. I don't know if it's that substantiated yet, but if it is, rest in peace to him. But
keep I keep seeing posts like that, and I really don't like to give people they rest in pieces. Or can you even say rest in pieces? I don't think you can say rest in pieces. I don't like to say it. I'm sorry. I don't, because that's not funny. Okay, I'm gonna be
it's
serious.
not funny. It's
I
not
don't
funny.
like to say rest in peace until that person has actually passed away. And
Right,
that's
right,
why I
right. I
didn't
feel
bring
you.
that up because it's not confirmed, but I see a lot of people posting about it. And sometimes people do start posting stuff before they have all of the information available.
Right.
So, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I saw that, and then the highlight of what's been going on and with the gossip and all that is the situation that happened with what's the comedian name?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. the situation. But the funniest part to me was, well, supposedly or not supposedly, because it was they had it recorded. Someone was got a weapon into a venue and was it was going to attack Dave Chappelle, and it didn't work out how he thought it was gonna work out. So he got his butt kicked, and
His arm
they
was all
said that
bent back. Did you see that?
yes. And then Chris Rock came on stage and said, "Was it Will Smith?" I just thought that was the most hilarious thing ever. Like, who says that? Like,
He's out of
who
pocket.
does
He's
that
out of
after something
control.
like that? But it reminds me so much of my family because we find humor in all the wrong places. Like we are gonna laugh about it. Like it could be something serious. We might get sad and cry, but at some point we're gonna be laughing about the situation. So I was like, that was hilarious to see that. But it made me wonder about like how security and stuff like that is gonna be changing in the future between the last two events with the comedians. Even though they're different, one's a stranger, one's a famous person, but it has to change the conversation around security for these
You
events.
you think comedians are under attack right now? Can we say that yet? Or we still gotta watch and see.
No, I think that comedy used to be the one area where you can get away with saying the unfiltered truth under the umbrella of joke, so like hitting people with truth. Like I think about like even the old school comedians, like Robin Harris, he used to clown the police. He'd be like, F the police. But it was okay. It would be police officers in the audience laughing. You know what I mean? But now it's like I think with the change of culture and everything, that
You
people
can't
are
talk
more
about nothing.
sensitive.
Somebody's
Yeah,
gonna get offended about anything. You cannot talk about anything. Somebody gonna
right,
have a
right,
problem with you talking about red carpet. Why are you talking
right,
about red carpet? Well, what about
right,
the
right,
black
right.
carpet?
Right. I
So
mean, and in the first episode, I had to correct myself because I said half breed. And then I was like, okay, I mean multiracial, I mean mixed race people, and I had a friend and she kind of laughed. I was like, look, I don't have nothing against mulattoes, mixed race people, quadroons, octoroons,
Jerry.
huh? What? I don't. I'm just saying, I don't. I love us all. People who wear, mixed chicks products that's not on a wig. Like I have no problems with any of anybody. Like it's all love. It's all love. But sometimes, my age does show and I get to saying stuff like that, like, oh, that's not PC. It's words we used to be able to use, we can't use no more. But, I am sometimes like 20-year-old me, and I'll go back there and use a word that, is no longer, we know better now, as they say. So, but I had these flashbacks and say stuff like that. But, it's a learning
That's okay.
experience. Yeah.
We're gonna give you a second
Hmm.
chance.
Okay. I won't use that word anymore. So, yeah. So, let's get into our topic.
Which happens to be second chances. So we just want to know how, I guess we're going to share some second chance stories, and we want to know how y'all feel about second chance situations. Feel free to leave them in the comments. We're going to be talking about second chances with family members, friends, lovers, whoever, just with second chances. And I know you got a story for us. You already shared one actually when you were talking about that guy that you had to block. He was really looking for a second chance. That's
Wait,
what he
which
wanted,
guy?
but you shut that down. See, it's too many guys. The
Oh,
one that you
oh,
just
oh.
said,
Well, yeah, I mean, I started off with that story. The guy was looking for a second chance. I mean, he wasn't even on the radar though. So I think in general, when you talk about second chances, it's really about trust, it's about forgiveness, and it's about what does that second chance look like, right? So in general. So you have to think about a lot of times the reason why second chances go wrong is because we overinvest. We overinvest in the outcome of the situation. So you're like, okay, you you did XYZ, but I care about you so much that I'm gonna give you another chance. And you give that person another chance and you're wholeheartedly in it 100%, and they do the same exact thing. You like, you're mad at yourself because you gave them another chance. You trusted them. And I think a lot of times, especially if a person is showing you a pattern, you have to just trust that they're going to be who they are. If you give them a second chance, understand that they are who they are until they show different over time. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I've had this, of course, in relationships for sure. And I've been like the person that gave 165 chances, but on that 166, you get
Nigga,
shut
you gotta
down.
go. You gotta
You
go.
get, man, like I said, you can't even breathe the same air as me because I know I did everything that I could do in my power to make sure. But
Now
sometimes
you
it's
know
just a
what?
matter. Mhm.
You know what? I actually thought that I was gonna disagree with you on second chances. I was expecting it. But
Why?
and I'm still gonna say what I wanted to say. Um I, I hate to say that I guess I show favoritism to some people. It just happens.
Yeah,
Everybody's not gonna get that second
yeah.
chance from me because as 34-year-old adult, I'm adult. I'm well aware that a lot of times people know exactly what the fuck they be doing. I don't
Yeah,
care how you want to spin it,
y-
how you want to fold it, how you want to cook it, how you want to roll it
yep,
and smoke it. People know exactly what the fuck they be doing.
yeah,
And a lot of them will
yep,
do what you allow. That's
yeah.
across the board. Men, family, friendships. It's not. I'm not attacking one gender. None of that. It that goes for everybody.
Mhm. I
So,
agree. I
but like you
definitely
said,
agree with that.
when you when you are dealing with the matters of the heart and you're dealing with a man and maybe y'all done did some things and now your coochie loves him, he
Right,
might get
right, right.
255 chances, unfortunately.
Right. And that's the thing, like, sometimes your mind might be like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? But your heart could say something different, and your private part could say something different. And then you're like, well, you're trying to look for a silver lining because you want so much for them to be that thing that you want or need at that time. But, you know, there becomes a point where, you just gotta live in reality. Family. People understand a little bit, they give you a little bit more leeway when it's relationship because I think everybody has experienced like loving a person who wasn't as invested or didn't have the same capacity to love you back. You know what I mean? Everybody has experienced that. But when it comes to family, I think that's the hardest because people feel like if you're blood related, that that gives them permission to hurt you, and it doesn't. And that's the lesson I had to learn, that blood relation doesn't give you permission to hurt me. Like I still can draw that line in the sand and say, no, that's not going. Some people
Hmm.
you can't get away because they're gonna be at Sunday dinner. You know what I mean? You can't get completely away from them, but you can change the nature of how you interact with them because they showed their true color. But, I'm a person that believes in redemption. So you have to demonstrate that consistently over time if you are still in my purview. Some people, like I said, they can't even breathe my air, period. Like, please, you invisible. So,
I gotta protect my peace first. So I don't care if you are a family member. Fuck you. You're not gonna get that many chances with me. Now, when I was younger, yeah, and I still respect my elders. I get all that, but if you get to being disrespectful outside of my parents, I don't care who you are.
right,
Nobody
right,
else is
right.
about to get no other chances with me in my family.
Right,
It just
right.
is what it is.
Yeah, no, I give a
So
lot of chances, but when I'm done. But I give a lot of chances. That, and by the way, anybody listening to know me, that does not give you permission to come with the nonsense because no. But people in my inner circle, yeah, you know what I mean. And then it depends on like, are they genuinely trying to change? Is it just a hard time? You know, because sometimes you have to look at that. You know, like I had a coworker, for example. This coworker actually helped me. She was part of the reason I got hired, right? But this particular day, it's a Friday. You know, I work a typical schedule. It's a Friday. We're about to be off work, and she tells our boss that we're gonna work on something over the weekend. And when I tell you she didn't have a further like a conversation with us before she's agreed for us to be on board for this weekend project, I was furious. I was like, I was on fire, and I must not have been able to hold it together on that Zoom because one of the other ladies on the Zoom picked up on it, and I was just like furious. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So what I did was I enjoyed my weekend like I normally would, but I woke up early in the morning and finished the project, like 4 in the morning to finish the project. It was three of us working on the project. We each had a part. And when we got to that meeting on Monday morning, me and the other lady, we had our stuff together. The third lady who did all this extra, she did not have her part. She was like, my bad, I didn't do it. And so I was like, if my head could have exploded into thousands of pieces, it would have exploded into thousands of pieces. I was just like so
Mhm.
upset about the whole situation. I'm like, goodness. So after that, I said, well, are you going to put in for our overtime? And she was like, I ain't doing that. So at this point, I'm like, done. I'm done with you. You messing with my money, you messing with my time and everything. But then I found out that she was going through menopause. And it made me
Mm.
have like
Okay.
more compassion. But I before I found that out, I was like going off to someone who could be considered like a superior. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even mean to like tell on her. I was just frustrated and was like talking. And I didn't catch myself like, oh, I shouldn't have said that like in front of her or whatever. And so then, later on I found out she was going through menopause and she was going through it heavy. And I saw someone go through that and I was like thinking I would want somebody to have compassion on me if I
Right,
was
right, right,
spazzing out because of some medical issue, and not
right.
and not to excuse what she did, but it made me like kind of backtrack and be like, let me give her a clean slate. Hopefully, she went and found her some Dun Quai tea, to some cinnamon tea, or some red raspberry, or some black kohacha, something to soothe that situation over. So she was cool or whatever, but was like a clean slate. So if I have a frame of what you're going through, you had a loss or something, then I can be a little bit more flexible. But dudes in particular, but people who are on some nonsense will use those excuses as a reason why they cutting the hell up. So how do you draw the line with that?
With men using
Mm,
excuse what they going through as the reason why they cutting up. That's what
yeah,
you asking?
that's what I asked you. Yeah.
Have I seen how big his thing was first?
Oh
That's
Lord.
that's the first question. Well, you asked me, I'm you know me. You know me for real outside of the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? Are we on the same page there? Then you might get a few more chances. But
Right, right, right.
if I know you lacking and we ain't conversation dead anyway, energy dead, no. Use that excuse with somebody else because that's not gonna fly over here. You know my weakness.
But you know what? To keep it a buck, like you said, I think most of us are biased. So that's just like if money was a factor. You know what I mean? If you getting money out the situation, you getting some good, what out the situation, or that those things, or if it's just a matter of the heart, you just love this person so much, they can probably, get away and use a little bit more excuses because sometimes what you into, and it's like this person is full of crap.
I
They
think
full of crap, but I'm not ready to cut ties, so I'm just gonna deal with it. You know what I'm
that's when you have
saying?
to decide. You have to separate the issue. Is this something small that I'm really just being anal about and I'm making a big deal over nothing?
Mhm.
Or is this something big that I can't get over? And they know
Mhm.
they have no business doing this, and I shouldn't even have to have a conversation with them about it.
Mhm. You're gonna get mad at me, but what
So
if it's about cookies?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna bring it up. So that's cool. We can go right there.
Go
Now you
ahead,
got
go
me
ahead.
ready to go. So no, let me say this. How many second
You gotta
chances
get
have you given
background.
me? How many
Huh?
second chances have you given me?
I don't know.
You don't know? It ain't been many
Yeah.
like that for you to not know.
Well, see, that's what you think.
Oh, okay. Say it with your chest then. Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, I would say early on in our relationship, it would be things, and we have a mutual friend that would kind of be like, she really would be the voice to be like, she just like that, she don't mean nothing by it, you know how she is. And I would be irritated at, like, but almost like a big sister way, because I'm the type of big sister that would be like, nah, that ain't cool, ain't no excuses, like my daughter said I'm harder on women, ain't no excuses, but she would be like, that's just how she is, don't take it personal. And so a lot of times I just, I don't hold on to grudges anyway, so I would let it go. So I can't really say, but it wasn't, there weren't that many like situations that were
It's
that
only I can only recall
extreme.
really one time where I crossed the line with you where and I'm not even talking
No, it was
about
more than
the
one. I just
the
let stuff go easy.
here we go. It was more than one?
It
Okay. You just
was
let
more
them
than
go?
one.
Okay.
Well,
That's
you
your
well,
story and you
you
sticking
remember
to it,
on the
huh?
first
Okay.
you remember on the first episode we talked about how we met. I was kind of mad at you because you was still in correspondence with the guy after, what I'm saying, everything happened. I was a little, I felt a way about that at first, but then I was like, I don't give a shit. I got to that place. But for a minute, I was kind of mad about it, but I was like, what's the point of saying something about it? It's going to make it look, like, what's the point? So I just let it go. And eventually it got to a point where you didn't deal with him either. But as far as y'all interacting, I felt a way about it. So I was like, I wasn't sure how to like process that information. You know what I mean? But yeah, but for the most part, I forget stuff. I be forgetting stuff. I be forgetting. I can't stay mad because I ain't got no space for that. It's too much going on for me to be staying mad.
Well, all I'm gonna say is, okay, yeah, I get that, but that was more on some, that was more on some mess because I never did nothing with that man. Once I found
Yeah,
out
I
that was
know,
your
I
man,
know,
I
I
was
know.
not interested. The only time I remember is, and we not gonna say the situation, but it was a situation with one of your family members
Oh
where I
yeah,
had said
yeah,
something in front of them that I shouldn't have
yeah,
said.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah, I was
that's what I'm
hot.
talking about. You was 38 hot. Yes, I know.
I was hot. I
So,
was hot. Just
but
because. Go ahead.
no, just because I'm gonna get to the cookies. Just because.
Okay, just because, like, I keep certain stuff separate, right? I keep certain stuff separate. Like, everybody don't need to know everything, so I keep certain stuff separate. Now, if it's my circle of friends, I don't care. Like, they can know I'm an open book. But it's certain people. It's like my grandma. I don't want her to know certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? My mama, I don't want her to know certain stuff. My dad, I don't want, or my daughter. Like, different relationships is certain the level of
Mhm.
protection that they don't need to know. So I'm protective of those. Outside of them couple of folks, I don't care what nobody think, because that's my core. You know what I'm saying? So my friends and stuff though, I don't care. You can say whatever. Oh, that's what that was.
Well,
But you didn't know that.
I had to give Brown Sugar a second chance a few months ago, and I think this was very big of me because I don't even believe in second chances a lot of times, and she had me furious. Okay, so I'm gonna make the story as short as possible. I went to her house because we always have gatherings. She's always trying to get somebody drunk. That's just what she does. I really think that she might be an alcoholic. She be laughing like she not, but she is. She's like the alcohol
Whatever.
plug. Um, I had bought some cookies because I knew my cycle was starting, so I'm trying to have all my snacks together. I left my cookies at her home by mistake. And I said, "Hey, I left my cookies there. I will be back to get them. Please do not open them." Okay? That's what I said. She hits me up a few hours later and she said, "So I opened them and I ate some." And I was really
I
irritated
had
about
eaten
that.
one at that point.
She the one turned to the whole thing. I just want to let you know that. We can skip here. The one turned to the whole thing of cookies. She ate them all. We was going through the same situation, but I felt like she pretty much said, "Fuck you and your cycle. It's about my cycle, and these cookies is here, so I'm gonna eat all your shit." What made me mad is she kept bringing up money up. She's like, "I'll replace them. You acting like I can't pay for no cookies," and I'm like, it don't have nothing to do with that. I know your money long. It has nothing to do with that. They cookies don't cost that much. The fact that I specifically asked you, please do not do this. And I took it as you said, "Bitch, fuck you. I'm gonna do that shit anyway because I want this shit
Oh,
right now."
hell no.
Thank you, Fifi. So
Oh
that's
my
how I
God.
felt. That's how I felt. So we did say we were gonna have a question for you guys last week. I will pose this as the question for this week. Who do you think was wrong in that situation? Do y'all think I was tripping? Or do y'all
I didn't even
think
say my part.
uh do y'all think and you'll get there, but do you think that Brown Sugar was tripping? Because I specifically asked her not to do something and she did it anyway, and they were my item. That's all I wanted to
Okay.
say. Go ahead, you cookie
Okay.
thief.
Our cycles are synced. So mine was starting a couple days after that. So I wasn't gonna eat the cookies. But the cookies was sitting there. And then, they started talking. And I was like, I'm just gonna eat one, then I
Now
gotta
the
replace
cookie's
it.
talking. Y'all hear this
Right.
shit?
So I ate one cookie and I was like, all right, I'm cool. I just ate one. I told her though, like, oh, I ate one cookie. So that was that. And the next day, them cravings, what I'm saying? It's medical. I looked it up on Google. Y'all could Google it. When a woman on her cycle, she craved chocolate and salty and
Mind you,
sweet, and it's medical.
my period, my period, my period's here too. Go
So
ahead.
I was gonna replace them before I got to it. So she got mad. She was big mad. She was big mad. She was like mad. And it
And you
just
try to downplay
spiraled
my
out of
cookies like they was
control.
cool. Nigga, they was cool enough for you to eat that whole motherfucking pack.
Yeah, I did.
Don't
I
try
did.
to don't try So we over that
For
now. I
real.
had to get over it. She tried to play me though, because we went out to eat like a few weeks later,
Hmm.
and she tried to act like she forgot about the cookie situation. Bitch still ain't replaced my cookies, but that's okay.
That's
I
okay.
do have enough money to buy my old cookies, but that's besides the point. It was the principle, and that's all I was trying to get her to see. It was the goddamn principle.
Yeah, and see, for me, it was just the chocolate. It was just the chocolate. It was a medical necessity. I had the cookies, and I know she didn't want me to be. It's sort of like I gave that lady that pause. She should have gave me a cookie pass. You know what I mean? Like I should have got a cookie pass. That's what I feel
Where was
like.
my pass for being on my cycle? Where was my
I
cookies
don't
at?
know. The guys really ain't about to listen. They
I
talking
don't
about
give a
their
fuck.
periods.
The main question is who was wrong. Should I have
Okay, yeah,
given her a
y'all tell us.
second chance? I
Hmm.
mean, I did anyway, so y'all's opinion is not going to change that. But what's wrong? Was I tripping, or was Brown Sugar wrong? That's
Yeah,
it.
she was trying to throw me away over cookies. It's okay.
Um,
My daughter tried to throw me away over fish. She was too mad about fish. It
so
was
you
like,
eating up all
I
people's
disown
shit?
you. Uh,
So that's what
what
you
happened?
do. You eat niggas food.
Um, what
Yeah,
what it is
yeah. Okay, so now we know. See, I didn't know that about you. All this time
yeah.
we've
When
been
them
friends, I didn't
cravings
know that
kick
you was a
in, I just
food
be like,
thief.
I'm hungry.
Okay. See, now I know how to move. So you're not gonna catch me
Yeah,
slipping again.
yeah. Just come back, circle back.
Absolutely.
They
It,
might
it,
not
it,
make it.
unless it's some penis involved, that's the only thing that's gonna keep me from getting my food from wherever you
Oh
at.
dang. Yeah, just circle back. Just make that U-turn. Like, let me go get my cookies because I know she gonna eat them. Yeah, I'm not obese, y'all. By the way, I know y'all can't see me, but I just like
Who's
I
even
like
thinking
food.
that?
No, I'm just saying because I'm I done got into my daughter over fish with you over cookies, so it seemed as if what I'm saying I got an eating problem. So,
You
I
probably
love
got a fat
food.
girl on the inside of your body. You got a fat girl on the inside of your body. That's what it is.
You know what? On the inside, yeah, on the inside of my heart, it is definitely a big girl up in there. And shout out to the BBW. So, what I'm saying, I don't want y'all mad whatever, because
Better
I'm
not
not
be. I'm a
skinny.
BBW.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm not skinny either. I love all the shapes and stuff like that too. So I don't want the mulattoes or the quadroons or the
Stop bringing
BBWs to
them
be mad.
up. You gonna get us
What?
in trouble.
I love everybody. It's my point. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Brown Sugar and Shea Butter. And we will see you next week. Bye,
Don't forget
everyone.
that question. Don't forget that question. Who was wrong? Who was tripping? That's all I want to know.
She was.
Y'all have a
She
great
was.
weekend.
She was. She was.